Witness blocked from probe. That is the topic of today's op-ed live. So this came out from AP today. President Donald Trump intensified his fight with Congress today over the Democrats' impeachment investigation as the administration blocked a United States diplomat from testifying behind closed doors about the president's dealing with Ukraine. This is completely nonsense, okay? You see the picture back there? It's Joe Biden, his son, Hunter Biden here, right here. And then if you go all the way to the left, that's Ukrainian natural gas company, Burisma Holdings, one of the boss, a board member, Devin Archer. So you have the crooks right here, but the mainstream media refused to cover this story and try to dig up and fabricate a fake one. That it's Trump, that it is Donald Trump who is pressuring Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. Okay, pressuring to investigate Joe Biden, that is completely legal. I think that he should do it. You know, as the President of the United States, that is what he should do. But the narrative that the media is putting out there is that he's doing that for a political reason. No, it's not. No, it's not. And that this is somehow an impeachable offense. This is completely ridiculous. So the AP continues. Gordon Sondland, the United States European Union ambassador, was barred from appearing in a closed-door session with 3 House panels investigating Trump's entreaties to Ukraine. Text messages released last week revealed conversations between Sondland and 2 other U.S. diplomats who were acting as intermediaries as the president urged Ukraine to investigate political rival Joe Biden's family and the 2016 United States election. Okay, if you're the United States president, wouldn't you want to know whether the former vice president pressured Ukraine to stop an investigation of a Ukrainian gas company, Burisma Holdings, if they did some kind of shenanigans? Wouldn't you want to investigate it? And it was Joe Biden who withheld $1 billion foreign aid to Ukraine. So you have this Shifty Schiff, one of the craziest ones out there. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff said Sondland's no-show was yet additional strong evidence of obstruction of Congress by Trump and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. That will only strengthen the Democrats' case as they conduct an impeachment inquiry and consider an eventual impeachment vote, he said. They don't even have a vote right now. They do have emergency power to subpoena people, but they still did not have a vote about impeachment. So this whole thing is nothing but a charade, nothing but a charade. And the mainstream media keeps on propping it up. And a lot of other media, like foreign media, just translate those mainstream media, what the New York Times, Washington Post, AP is putting out there. It's all just fake shenanigans. Same thing as the Russiagate, okay? Well, I do believe Russia meddled to the 2016 United States election. I do. But it happened on the Democrat side. They were the one who colluded with Russia and tempered the United States election. That's how even Trump got a special counsel investigation under him. This is completely insane, if you think about it. Trump never colluded with Russia. Anybody who says so is completely lying or just delusional. So Trump indicated today morning that it might have been his own decision to block Sondland's testimony, tweeting that he would love to send Ambassador Sondland to testify, but unfortunately, he would be testifying before a totally compromised kangaroo court. I completely agree with him on this. So it's just another Democrat's ploy, you know. It's just insanity all the way through. This is going to all, you know, this is going to all pass away, by the way. It's going to all pass. The same thing is, nobody's talking about Bob Mueller now. Nobody's talking about Robert Mueller's report. Nobody's talking about Russia collusion anymore. They just keep on imagining this obstruction of justice. They're living in this fantasy world, this fiction this fictitious world that they made, the mainstream media and the deep state and whoever believes these people, they're living in this bubble. And our job is to break that bubble. So I would like to show you some tweets out there. Can you go one by one? So this is what Trump tweeted yesterday. As I have stated strongly before, and just to reiterate, if Turkey does anything that I, in my great and unmatched wisdom, consider to be off limits, I will totally destroy and obliterate the economy of Turkey. They must, with Europe and others, watch over. Can you turn to the next page? The captured ISIS fighters and families. The United States has done far more than anyone could have ever expected, including the capture of 100% of the ISIS caliphate. It is time now for others in the region, some of great wealth, to protect their own territory. The United States is great. So Trump is getting criticized by the left and the right, especially the neocons, like Lindsey Graham, that Trump, like Graham, ripped into Trump for removing troops from Syria. You know, so this came out from CNN. Lindsey Graham, one of President Donald Trump's strongest Republican defenders in Congress, blasted Trump over his decision to remove United States troops from northern Syria as Turkey plans a military offensive in the region, saying it was short-sighted and irresponsible. But Trump was trying to say that how long do we have to stay there? According to these neocons, we have to stay there forever. But Trump is saying we don't want to waste our young soldiers out there in a foreign territory where the United States doesn't even have that much incentive to be in the first place. And Trump also tweeted just now, he said, I think that crooked Hillary Clinton should enter the race to try and steal it away from uber-left Elizabeth Warren. Only one condition, the crooked one must explain all of her high crimes and misdemeanors, including how and why she deleted 33,000 emails after getting subpoena. So there are many people out there who believe that Hillary Clinton might try to run for president again. I know you guys out there are going to be really tired of her, but there are some real talks that she might run again, because nobody thinks that Elizabeth Warren is going to beat Trump. And nobody thinks that Biden is going to beat Trump either. And they know that. The Democrats and the deep state knows that. That's why they're doing this impeachment. One of the congressmen on the Democrat side even said, if we don't impeach Trump, then he might get reelected. Then we know that he's going to get reelected. So they know that Trump has the upper hand against them. So Trump is taunting the Democrats. Okay, let's check out the next tweet out there. So this is a tweet from yesterday that Trump tweeted. I was elected on getting out of these ridiculous, endless wars, where our great military functions as a policing operation to the benefit of people who don't even like the United States. The two most unhappy countries at this move are Russia and China, because they love seeing us bogged. So many people elected Trump so that the United States would pull out their troops on these ridiculous and endless wars. That's what he's saying right here. Okay? And these countries, they don't even like the United States. I don't think Syria really likes the United States. By the way, I don't think even Afghans like the United States. I don't think even Iraqis. So he's continuing. The two most unhappy countries at this move are Russia and China, because they love seeing us bogged. We'll check out the next page, please. Bogged down, watching over a quagmire and spending big dollars to do so. When I took over, our military was totally depleted. Now it is stronger than ever before. The endless and ridiculous wars are ending. We will be focused on the big picture, knowing we can also go back and blast. So the report said that almost 100% of the ISIS are gone by now in Syria. So why do we have to even stay there? I think President Trump is completely 100% correct in his decision to pulling out our troops. Okay, we'll check out the next tweet. Okay, Inspector General, declassified information contradicts the whistleblower. You know what? The whistleblower thing, the first whistleblower and the second whistleblower, it all doesn't mean anything. You got to really know that. It doesn't mean anything. Why? Because Trump already released a transcript. So all the Americans and all the people in the world out there can read it. So there's nothing new that the whistleblower can bring. This is all just the media narrative and the Democrat narrative and the deep state narrative that they're trying to put out there. They're trying to look like Trump is guilty. The deep state was really surprised and shocked when Trump released these transcripts immediately when the first whistleblower came out. And by the way, he wasn't even a first-hand whistleblower. He was a second-hand whistleblower. Okay, he didn't even have direct access to Trump's phone call to the Ukrainian president. See how ridiculous this whole thing is? So IG declassified information contradicts the whistleblower. It's by Fox and Friends. But why are people surprised? The partisan whistleblower was very wrong on what was said on My Perfect no pressure call with the Ukrainian president. He didn't give any pressure to the Ukrainian president. You got to know that, okay? On the phone. He wanted to look into it, okay? Because he knows that Joe Biden and his son got some money from Ukrainian company illegally, okay? What do you call that? Corruption. Bring in another whistleblower from the bench. So he's taunting them, right? So they did go for the second whistleblower. But right now, we're not talking about the second whistleblower. We're not even talking about the first whistleblower. You know what the Dems and the media are all talking about? Just the impeachment. Ridiculous impeachment with no basis, no logic. Just plain insanity. Okay, we'll check out the next page. Okay, 60 Minutes, it's a CBS show on Sunday. 60 Minutes forgot to report that we are helping the great farmers of the United States to the tune of $28 billion for the last 2 years, paid for out of tariffs paid to the United States by China for targeting the farmer. You know that China has been targeting the farmers in the United States so that Trump would lose come 2020. So Trump slapped a bunch of tariffs to China, as you might already know. And what he's saying here is he got $28 billion out of that and gave it to the farmers. And CBS 60 Minutes did not report on that. That's what he's pointing out here. They, meaning China, they devalued their currency, therefore paying the cost. Let's go on to the next tweet. Unemployment rate just dropped to 3.5%. Did you know that? The lowest in more than 50 years. Okay? This is how strong the economy is right now in the United States. It is very strong. 3.5%, okay? Obama couldn't even dream of that number, okay? Is that an impeachment event for your president? Of course not. Okay, let's go to the next tweet. Sleepy Eyes Chuck Todd of Meet the Press had a total meltdown in his interview with highly respected Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin. Seems that a not very bright Chuck just wasn't getting the answers he was looking for in order to make me look bad as possible. I did nothing wrong. So Chuck Todd, the NBC host for Meet the Press, he's one of the worst journalists out there. He had a total meltdown because because Ron Johnson started talking about the FBI agents who were investigating Trump-Russia collusion conspiracy theory, Peter Strzok. And just by mentioning his name, Chuck Todd suddenly said, oh, you're just coming out with the Fox News conspiracy theory narrative. These crooks claim the facts conspiracy theory, when the conspiracy theory that they're claiming is real news. And the things that they're propping up, like Ukraine and Russiagate, those things are conspiracy theories, okay? So these people are just hypocrites. They know it. They know what they're spreading out there, is fake news. They know that. But probably they get a pay raise whenever they spread these lies. So Trump continues, seems that a not very bright Chuck just wasn't getting the answers he was looking for in order to make me look as bad as possible. Ron Johnson did a marvelous job. He disputed to Chuck Todd that all the media out there are spreading fake news, pretty much. Pretty much in a sense, that's what he was talking about. And Trump continues, I did nothing wrong. Okay, we'll check the next tweet. The Biden family was paid off, pure and simple. You guys already know that, right? The fake news must stop making excuses for something that is totally inexcusable. Sleepy Joe said he never spoke to the Ukrainian company, and then the picture came out. I just showed you that picture where he was playing golf with the company boss and Hunter. Where is the media on this? Where is the New York Times, Washington Post, and CNN on this? They would never report this, or they would just put it on a side note. Okay, we did report it, just to escape being called fake news. Okay, we'll check the next tweet. And by the way, I would love running against 1% Joe Biden, meaning Joe Biden had only 1% of poll number back in 2008 when he ran for president. I just don't think it's going to happen. Sleepy Joe won't get to the starting gate, and based on all the money he and his family probably extorted, which is true, Joe should hang it up. Joe shouldn't run. I wouldn't want him dealing with China and Ukraine. Do you? Do you want Joe Biden to deal with China and Ukraine? I don't think so. Okay, we'll go to the next tweet. It is incredible to watch and read the fake news and how they pull out all the stops to protect Sleepy Joe Biden and is thrown out of the military son, Hunter. He was thrown out of the military by taking cocaine, right? So he was handed $100,000 a month, plus, from a Ukrainian-based company, even though he had no experience in energy. We'll continue to the next page. And separately, got $1.5 billion from China, despite no experience and for no apparent reason. There is no way these can be legitimate transactions. As lawyers, do you think that these are legitimate transactions, by the way? $1.5 billion from China? For what? Hunter Biden was no expert. And even with the Ukrainian company, John Kerry, the former Secretary of State, John Kerry's son was also involved. What kind of nonsense is this? There is no way these can be legitimate transactions. Right on, Mr. President. And he continues, as lawyers and others have stated, as president, I have an obligation to look into possible or probable corruption. Right on again. Of course. If I'm the president, I would definitely investigate it. I would definitely ask the AG to investigate it. If they don't, then I don't think they should be president in the first place. So President Trump is doing the right thing. Okay, we'll continue to the next page. Okay, don't miss out on the latest bombshell report. Yeah, it was unemployment numbers for Hispanic and African Americans hit another record low. This never happened during the Obama administration era. Okay, we'll continue to the next page. Look at this. This is Charlie Kirk from Turning Point USA. He's doing a marvelous job for the conservatives out there. Look at that. Nancy Pelosi, years in office, 32. She was in office for 32 years. Net worth $238 million. How did she amass that number? Don't you kind of think probably she might have done the same thing what Joe Biden did? Dianne Feinstein. But you'll see that Joe Biden was relatively probably less corrupt. Look at this. Dianne Feinstein, years in office, 27, net worth $94 million. What did she do to amass that money? I don't think they pay that much for senators or even congressmen or women. Joe Biden, years in office, 44, net worth $15 million. How can you make that much money? There must be some quid pro quo, right? Common sense dictates that, right? Common sense pretty much brings you to that logic. And then what do they all have in common? Decades in public service and millions of dollars to show for it. It's time for term limits. I agree with that. Okay, we'll continue. This is from Paul Sperry. He used to be an investigative reporter for Investor Business Daily. One of the honest journalists out there, I might say. MSM keeps trying to buck up John Brennan, arguing the poor guy is such a patriot, spending his whole life defending this country. And yet, here he is being investigated. His whole life, really? This so-called patriot was 23 when he voted to turn this country into a communist state. Did you guys know that he voted for a communist back when he was 23 years old? John Brennan is one of the most crooked guys out there. Okay, we'll continue. Breaking, the Democrat whistleblower who complained about Trump digging up dirt in Ukraine was himself helping dig up dirt in Ukraine against Trump and Manafort while working in the Obama White House during the 2016 campaign. Okay, we'll continue. The next page, please. Okay, once voters understand that Trump was set up and framed by intelligence ops, like the whistleblower in 2016, falsely accused of being a Russian agent, then impeachment will be seen for what it is, a political putsch to cover their tracks. Okay, we'll continue to the next page. The Obama administration launched an intelligence operation against Trump to derail his campaign and presidency in 2016 to 17, and now having failed. So even after Trump got elected as a president-elect, Trump was even being spied upon, okay? You remember when Trump tweeted that? When he wasn't, that he was wiretapped by Obama? What a sick guy. I think Obama's a sick guy, because I do believe he was involved in it. Peter Strzok and Lisa Page's textbook shows the evidence, right? It says POTUS wants to know everything, right? He wanted to be up to date on it. And now, having failed, Obama holdovers are launching another intelligence operation to try to remove him from power. It will also fail if the first op is fully exposed. Okay, we'll go on to the next page. I'm showing you all these tweets because you can't see these tweets you can't see these real news from the fake news media out there, okay? So this is showing that Democrats are getting pressure by the Democrats, okay? Even though they don't believe that the impeachment is the right process. Representative Debbie Dingell, a Democrat, revealed that she was pressured to support impeachment against President Trump. She was targeted by Tom Steyer and MoveOn. MoveOn meaning MoveOn.org. The founder was George Soros. So she's getting pressured pretty much by Tom Steyer and George Soros, I might say. Well, that's our show for today. Our show is not about left or right, it's about right or wrong. To stay up to date with our latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.